Hello and welcome to Nomade Unique Experiences South America Discover Series. Today we're gonna talk about Patagonia, the destination, and our partner in South America, Explora. Okay, Explora Patagonia. So let me introduce myself. My name is Ben Garcia, originally from Chile and managing director of Nomade Unique Experiences South America. Um, let's check a little bit about a short introduction about Nomade. We are a representation company and we work with luxury product from South America and specializing in product and hotels and cruises that have something unique to offer. We work with the Explora Lodges in 3 properties in Chile, Easter Island, the Atacama Desert, Patagonia that we'll be checking today, and in the Sacred Valley in Peru as well. 2 hotels in Santiago, Las Taras Boutique Hotel and Luciano Cay, and our partner in Antarctica, Antarctica 21, who delivers flight cruises to the Antarctic Peninsula. But today we're here to talk about Patagonia, and mainly about Chilean Patagonia in Torres del Paine National Park, which is the main national park in Chile and probably the best known national park from Patagonia, also with Perito Moreno Glacier and the counterside in Argentina. Okay, first of all, let's locate where's this on the map. We need to start flying to South America. A lot of connections today with Latam and Qantas, and then from Santiago, the capital of Chile, is a 3.5 hour flight to Punta Arenas. Okay, we are zooming in into the Patagonian region. As I mentioned before, this region covers an extensive area in Chile and Patagonia, and we'll be focusing today in the Chilean side, okay, which is actually between the Pacific Ocean and the Andes mountain range. This highlighted point here is the area where Torres del Paine National Park is located. Here I have a map of Torres del Paine National Park. Okay, we decided to include this information because it's key for when you actually have to sell Patagonia to your passengers. Okay, we divided, as you can see on the screen, we divided the national park in 4. You can see here and here. On the west side of the national park, and mainly in here, you have the ice fields, the southern ice fields that run for more than 300 kilometers and finishes in Torres del Paine National Park. Okay, and then you have the Massif of the Paine, or the big mountain that is that makes Torres del Paine a very famous national park and one of the most impressive nature sceneries in South America. Okay, these ice fields bring cold air, and that combined with the moisture that comes from the Pacific Ocean creates a lot of moisture that comes into this national park. But all of this moisture and cold air is stopped by this big mountain here by the Massif of the Paine in Torres del Paine National Park. So that moisture gets accumulated on the west side of the national park, creating a lot of humidity, and that is the result of having a lot of forest. So this part of the national park and the west part of the national park is very green. So you have a lot of forest, really good for bird watching, and of course all the glaciers that are around this area. Okay. On the opposite side, so the Massif of the Paine, this big mountain that you have in the middle of the national park, doesn't allow moisture and wind to actually cross to the other side. And this side, the east side of the national park, right here, okay, this area is what we call is much drier. We don't have any trees in here, and it's where most of the wildlife is concentrated. So here you have guanacos, which is a type of, with the family of the camels. It's a wild llama, and then of course you have all the foxes and condors. And if you're lucky enough to see pumas, this is a side of the national park that you most probably will be actually seeing one of these amazing animals. Okay, so this side is drier, no trees, really good to see wildlife, and of course you can actually have long trekkings as well. Okay, And I added a little bit of information about the southeast side of the national park in this area, where not a lot of people can have access to this site. Um, Due to the infrastructure that Explora has on this area, we have the stables and horseback riding, and with Explora is the only company that you can actually horseback ride on this part of the national park. You see the Explora logo right in the middle, and that's something that is Explora is very proud of having this unique location. You need to know that Explora started their operation here 25 years ago, in 1993, where Patagonia was still not a tourism destination for long-haul markets. And here we're talking Europe, US, and of course Australia. Okay. This location is not only unique for the amazing views that you can get out of the actual lodge, but also it's a strategic location to actually get access to the different sites of the national park. So when you stay with Explora, you are in the heart of the national park, and for the furthest tours or explorations that Explora delivers, you won't have to travel more than 1 hour by vehicle, which is an advantage when you consider that this national park has more than 12,000 hectares as an area. Okay. Another important question that I get every time when we talk about Patagonia is, when is the best time to go? Okay. The answer is, it's not as straightforward as we would think. Here we have I divided the different seasons, and I put and we listed a little bit of the key factors that you need to consider to decide when is the best time for your client or for you to actually visit Patagonia. Let's talk a little bit about summer in terms of the crowds. The crowds in summer are high. You have, of course, the luxury infrastructures in terms of the hotels, being Explora the only one that is the only five-star lodge inside and in the heart of the national park. But also you have a lot of backpackers and trekkers going around the national park. So the crowds in summer are high. Okay. Um, Also, the temperatures are higher, between 12 to 22 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this means that the access to all the trails and all the areas of the national park are open. This means human beings going around the national park back and forth by vehicle or on foot. Uh, and this means that the wildlife retreats. So your chances to seeing a lot of wildlife on summer are actually decreased a lot compared to other seasons on the year. Okay, the chances of rain are very low, and another factor to consider are winds. Okay, the wind in summer is very strong. You need to consider that the higher temperatures with the combination of ice fields on one side and this mountain on the other creates strong winds with gusts of wind up to 100 kilometers per hour. Okay, and this can happen pretty much every day in the summer. Okay, something to consider as well. The good thing is that the experiences that you can live on Torres del Paine National Park in summer is 100%. You can pretty much go everywhere on the national park and use every single trail that is designed to enjoy the national park. Then if we go to autumn, which personally one of my favorite seasons to visit national park, you have the changing colors of the forest. The crowds starts to decrease a lot, and most of the hotels actually stop their operation around April, end of April, and the beginning of May. And Explora is the only hotel inside the national park and pretty much in the area that actually operates year round. And that's why we are going to talk of each season. Okay. Um, so crowds are getting lower. You don't have a lot of people going around the national park. Hotels start to close, and also the camps for backpackers and trekkers. So from mid-May onwards, you pretty much have the national park for yourself. Okay, the access is high. Some of the trails might be start to get a little bit more difficult to reach in terms of because the weather can start to get a little bit more with more rain. And the wildlife here is, I would say, medium. You start seeing the wildlife returning to the heart of the national park, and the temperatures are still good. Okay, chances of rain are much higher than in summer, of course, and the wind is good here. It's medium and perfectly to enjoy. And in terms of the experiences, I just included there at 95% because pretty much everything will be still be open. Autumn is a really good season also to enjoy photography tours. You have the changing colors of the forest and with a lot of access to all the trails in the national park. Uh, Someone that enjoys photography will have a really good time in autumn, mainly end of April, beginning of May. Okay. Then we go into the winter months. So mainly July, mid-June, July, August. And here literally no crowds. And more than no crowds, pretty much no people. Okay. The access starts to get a bit limited. And this means that we have lower temperatures. The rain still is going to be around. Okay, you can have in Patagonia the four seasons in one day, but because of the cold temperatures and the possibility of rain, then you start seeing snow. Okay, which means that some of the very known treks or hikes, which is the base of the towers, the French Valley, and even trekking onto some of the glaciers, will be limited or even closed. Okay. Um, what is good is that in winter the chances of seeing wildlife is very high. Uh, the months the times that I've been here, for example, in August, you have the chance to see white Patagonia, which is something that not many people have the chance to see. The hotels, of course, have been Explora pretty much the only hotel open in the winter months. You have very low occupancy, so even not a lot of people in the hotel. But the wildlife is definitely there. They have taken back Torres del Paine National Park. Okay, the wind is very light, and in terms of experiences, I would say around 70%, because even though you cannot have access to some of these very known hikes or treks, you have other options to actually enjoy Torres del Paine National Park as well. And then we finish with spring, which is also a really good time to visit. If you visit around September, September is when in Chile we have our National Day. So a lot of festivities going around, really good vibe across the country. Um, the access is really high. I would say pretty much 100% to all the trails and all the activities. The wildlife again starts seeing more people coming in. The wildlife starts to retreat, but not a lot of people comes right away. Okay, so I would say from late November is when the high season will start, and then the wildlife will be harder to see, but in spring still really good to actually see wildlife and enjoy Torres del Paine National Park as well. In terms of what to bring, I would say here the key is layers. Okay, so of course waterproof jackets, windbreakers, but here layers will allow to actually manage really well the different conditions that you will get in different areas and in different days in Torres del Paine National Park. Of course, to cover your head, hiking clothes, gloves, trekking boots, and a small backpack and some equipment to go on these daily tours or daily explorations. Now let's get into a little bit more detail in where to stay. Okay, let's talk about Explora Patagonia. So Explora Patagonia, as I was mentioning, is they started building this lodge in around 1989, and they opened this lodge in 1993. Actually opening this destination. So Explora pioneered the concept of having um, remote lodges, five-star lodges in remote areas of South America. And the main philosophy of Explora is always the lodge is going to be always a five-star lodge with five-star service, but the important thing is that they will provide a set of explorations and all the services included to be able to explore and discover this amazing destination. Okay, so it's the perfect base from where to explore Patagonia and, of course, Patagonia Torres del Paine National Park. This is the actual view from the lodge and from your room. So when I was saying that Explora has a unique location, this is pretty much what I'm talking about. This is the feeling that you get when you are preparing yourself to go on an exploration or even having one of your meals or at the bar in the lodge. Okay. Um, this is some of the path around the Explorer property, and this is what you see. And this is the massive of the Pine. This is the mountain that we were talking before that create these microclimates in different areas of the national park. Okay. How to get here? We talked about before where how to get to first arrive into Chile, into Santiago, the capital of Chile, and then you need to fly to Punta Arenas, which you have a year-round flight to Punta Arenas, and then you have a 5-hour transfer from Punta Arenas Airport into Explora Patagonia. Okay, transfers in the program, of course, are included, as well as accommodation, all the meals, full board, open bar, and of course, the most important thing, all the explorations with professional guides. At Explora Patagonia, we have 50 different explorations with different difficulty levels from easy to expert. Okay, so what happens at Explora Patagonia? Every night you sit down with one of our guides, drink in hand pisco sour or your favorite Chilean wine, and you discuss with one of our guides what do you want to do the following day, and then you have this um, menu of 50 different options going to different areas of the national park and in different levels. You can actually go on a photo safari and take and go to the main lookouts of the national park which will be a very mild exploration, and on the other side, on the other spectrum, you can actually do the base of the tower, which is an 8 to 9 hour trek. Okay, and everything in between. Okay, we have two categories of explorations in Torres del Paine National Park. The first one is hiking, of course, and as I was mentioning, from 1 hour to 8 hours, depending on what your client wants, what the weather is doing, and of course the season that you are visiting. Okay, and then we have horseback riding. Okay, let's wait for that. Okay, horseback riding, and here I want to mention that Explora is a company that doesn't outsource any of their services. Okay, when Explora offers horseback riding, they own 25 horses in Patagonia, and the whole concept and the philosophy of the Explora program is to give the passenger and the traveler the flexibility to choose when and how they want to explore and discover this amazing destination. So here, the minimum number of people to do an exploration is one, because we have, for example, if your passengers decides that he wants to go horseback riding, there are 25 horses waiting to do this. Okay, and as I mentioned before, with Explora is the only company that you can actually horseback ride on the south area of the national park. Of course, we have specially bred horses, and the stables where the horses are located are managed by the gauchos that work with Explora. These guys are real gauchos. The head of the gauchos, Mr. Silvio, he used to has been with Explora for more than 10 years, and 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 the stables are also located inside the national park to provide these amazing experiences. Okay. And the idea is that you always go out with one of our guides, which are professional guides that they've been going through deep training to actually know very well the information about the destination and the area that you're visiting, and they all go through the Explora guiding school as well. Okay. In terms of the lodge, we see here that this is what the rooms look like, okay, and this is the view. As I was saying, this is the view from your room, okay. As you can see, the rooms have a lot of space. They're very comfortable, and at the same time, they're simple. Okay, so you have, as I was mentioning, this is the view, and then you have open bar on the common areas of the hotel, and you have Wi-Fi access in the common areas of the hotel as well. Okay. The fact that the Explorer focused their experience in the national park itself, it doesn't mean that we're not a luxury lodge. We do have the amenities and the infrastructure of a luxury lodge. Here you can see the outdoor jacuzzis or hot tubs, and on the left hand side of these hot tubs you have an indoor swimming pool as well. Okay. And the idea is to provide an authentic experience. So the gauchos in Patagonia are part of the culture, and they have been um, running the show, not the show, but they have been running the experience that your traveler is gonna um, experience in Patagonia. And here you see an example um, of what we do at least once a week in high season, and every 2 or 3 weeks in low season to show a little bit of the culture and how things are done in Patagonia. Okay, so again, keeping the authenticity of the experience very high. So at the southernmost tip of the world, at the southernmost tip of the world, you get Explora Patagonia. Here, a little poll, if you can help me understand how many passengers in a year are you sending to Patagonia. That will give us a really good idea in how we can help you to actually support your sales and marketing strategy. This is what we're here for, and of course, uh, you being able to request access or to request support from us as well. Okay. All right. So still collecting some responses. Let's wait a little bit for everyone to have a chance to participate on the poll. And great. If there are no more answers right now, we can actually continue. So here you can see a little bit what we were talking at the beginning in terms of the map of the national park. So if you see on the left hand side of your screen, you see this is where the ice fields and the glaciers are coming in from the north. Okay, and then you have the massif of the Pine, which is this big mountain. Okay, and then from on the hand side of the screen, you have this flat area where the wildlife and no trees are located. But this is that what your passenger will experience when they visit Explora Patagonia. Okay, so that was Explora, and to finish, I want to let you know that first of all, thank you for participating on these webinars. We will run a set of webinars from now to the end of this year, and the idea is that if you participate in 4 of these, you will become a Nomad ambassador. Hopefully, we can work together. We're here to support your sales and marketing strategy. The idea is to provide all the information and all the insights and the knowledge from South America to choose the right destination and the right product for your clients. We have for that we will be sending the newsletters, all the specials, and all the product that we're managing. Of course, the blog to get some inspiration. And the idea is that the people that become a Nomad ambassador will have the chance to actually get a trip to Chile with our partners in South America. Okay, so the invitation is open. Please share this with the people in at your office. Uh, we're well. You're welcome to actually ask any questions, and here you have um, my contact information. That's my email. If you need more detail regarding this destination, about Explora, about Patagonia, or any other destination or product that we manage in South America, please feel free to contact me, and I'll be happy to help and support. Okay. This is our webinar for today. So if anyone has any questions, please go ahead. Okay, so we have a question about what is the altitude. So the altitude, pretty much you're here at sea level. Okay, here you're not high in the Andes mountain range. Actually, you are not in the Massive of the Paine is not part of the Andes mountain range, and actually the levels of oxygen is very high. So no difficulty in on breathing on that sense. Okay, let's talk about how much time you should stay on the national park. The minimum program with Explora is 3 nights in low season and 4 nights in high season. I always recommend at least 4 nights. Consider that the transfer from Punta Arenas, from the airport to the national park, is around 5 hours. So if you stay 3 nights, that means that you will have 3 full days. And Explorer runs half days and full day explorations, depending on what the passengers decide to do. Okay, so and we have 50 different options and different areas in the national park. So with 3 days, you probably will be looking at an itinerary it will be around going 1 day on probably on a full day trek, then experience some horseback riding with the gauchos, and then be able to enjoy in spring and summer the catamaran around Lake Peoe, which Explora owns, and then enjoy some different areas to see the wildlife and the glaciers. So packing all that in 3 days is actually a lot. So and then if you want to stay more, of course you're welcome, but I would say the recommended stay would be 4 nights. Is there any other question that anyone has, or anyone wants to actually has any passengers that are actually going right now, and you need some support? We have the handouts here. I'm not really sure if you can see that. But here you have the brochure, our brochure. You have the Patagonia, the Explora Patagonia video, and of course the brochure of Explora Patagonia and the explorations that the menu of 50 different explorations that we provide at Explora Patagonia. Okay, so any more questions that I can answer and help you with? Well, excellent. Thank you again. Please visit our website, nomade.com.au. You You'll have all the information there. I will be sending you an email with with the documents that are here in the handouts, and also our new 2018-2019 brochure. Hopefully this webinar is helpful. If you have any comments, please let me know. If there's anything that you didn't ask but you still have some questions, feel free to send me an email, give me a call, and thank you again. And hopefully you can join some of other webinars, and hopefully we can go to Chile together next year. So thank you again. I'm here to support your business and happy to help. Thank you very much.